Hello, I'm Fanny and I'm representing Spokes of Hope Worldwide. And I'll be presenting to you the presentation on how to be an effective good manager. So in this presentation, we look mainly on two different things. The first is the functions of management and the three primary styles of management. So if we go on with the five functions of management, first of all, we can define what is management, and management is an act of engaging with an organization, human talent, and its resources to accomplish desired goals and objectives. So the five functions here we're going to talk about are planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So we can start with the first management function, which is planning. Planning is considered as the process of thinking about and organizing activities required to achieve a desired goal. So, as a manager, you receive what you have some goals about your company, and then in order to accomplish them, you plan accordingly. You specify each task and a time which everything can be done. So one of a scenario I can provide is maybe you have a meeting on Monday and you have to give a presentation like the way I'm doing. So on my calendar, of course, I've put it that Monday on this day I'll be presenting to you. So 2 days before, I put on my calendar that I will be preparing the presentation that I have to show you. So that I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, is called planning. So organizing most of the time comes after planning, because if you have already done with planning, then you have to organize your things, and that's creating the pattern of relationship between workers and resources that they should use and the time on which they have to accomplish the task you have given to them. So an example is maybe you want to increase sales and you assign sales people to each branch of your company, and you hire an advertising manager or agency who is responsible to increase or to promote your product. That's organizing. So you're putting different tasks and people in place so that you can accomplish your desired goal. So another thing is staffing, and staffing is mostly looking on hiring or recruiting employees. So most of the time you have different things that you do, which is maybe identify the job requirements, prepare the job description, advertise it, manage responsibility list, and so on. So there are different things that you have to put in order so as to recruit and select good employees, or put in place employees that are related or have desired skills that can help in accomplishing a certain goal. So another thing is leading, and leading is the use of influence to motivate your employees to achieve an organization. So there are three components that make leading, which is motivating employees, influencing them, and forming effective groups. And the last which is not the least, is controlling. And controlling is the act that makes sure that what has been done through planning and leading and organizing has been put into action. So now we are supervising everything. And there are also three main components, which is element of a control system, which is the way you're going to look or to supervise that each task are being accomplished. Maybe you can have a Google Sheet in which where everyone has to insert his task or accomplishment. You have to evaluate and reward those who have done well, and you have to control the financial, information, and physical resources so that you see that maybe they're not misusing or using less. So we can go on with the primary management styles, and those are directing, discussing, and then delegating. So these styles are used by managers depending on the employees you have. Sometimes you can use all of them, or you can use one of them. So it just depends on the knowledge or skills of your employees, the nature of their task, time constraint, and some other factors. So we start with directing. Directing is a style that is used to promote listening and following directions. This is where a manager tells employees what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So there are some suggestions you can follow maybe to in this site, and if it is, you give a big picture, you show them what to do, like in a global thing, and you be precise what you need from them. You provide the right amount of details. Like sometimes we tend to give less amount of details or too much, but you have to give enough details about what has to be done about a specific task, so that they don't have to confuse it with any other thing. You also interact in adult to adult manner. You don't have to take them as they are your children, but talk to them as if they also have something to say about that. Don't sugarcoat the message, or because you don't want them to be sad or what, you just tend to be nice. No, you have to say things the way they are done. So the strength and the weakness of directing. Some of the strength are decisions are taken quickly because you are the one to take the decisions. You don't have to consult anyone else. So decisions are taken quickly and the work is done on time. If you give an order to someone and you specify the time on which you want that thing to be done, for sure he's going to do that. So the weakness are that they decrease motivation. Sometimes because the employees are not part of the decision making, they feel decreased, they feel that they don't have much value in your company. And there is also a staff turnover. Maybe they don't like the way you take decisions and they would like to add something. So in that way they can turn over or like don't want to work with you anymore. So I can give an example on this directing style. So assume when you go to the hospital and you have to give a blood sample, most of the time when you reach the lab nurse gives you direction on what to do. He asks you to maybe to roll your shirt. Afterwards, he asks you to extend your arm. Afterwards, he tells you like you have to squeeze your hand so that blood might come. And when he's done with what he has to do, he gives you a cotton to put on and gives like specify which time you have to remove it. He says maybe remove it after this time or remove it when you see that blood is no longer coming. So what the lab nurse is doing is directing. He's directing everything, how to do it, when to do it, and what to do. So that's exactly what the managers should be doing. So another style is discussing, and discussing is a style when everything is learned through discussions. You just engage discussions. A manager asks questions, critical thinking questions about employees, about what they think and how they see opportunities and everything around. So some of the suggestions are you ask most of the time general questions. And you have to resist the temptation of providing answers or giving them a hint of what they should be telling you. You have to let them think and give you whatever they think about. And you have to prepare questions in advance. You don't have to give them questions when you see them, but be ready with the questions. Don't allow some employees to take control or to dominate others, but let everyone talk. And you have also to promote a broad participation by asking each employee a comment to any question, especially those employees that you see that they don't like to talk, they tend to be more shy. So the strength and the weakness of this style is that employees feel motivated and they express their ideas or whatever is not working well. That's one of the strengths. And the weakness is that it hinders decision making. For example, if you have to consult all the employees before you take a decision, it is going to take too much time before you take it. So I'm going to give you some of the example of questions you can ask, like you can ask like, what do you suggest can be done to increase sales in this year? So at that time, you let an employee give you his tips on what can be done. Another one is what do you think can be changed in our organization to achieve our goals? For example, when you don't achieve your goals or you are taking too much time to accomplish them. Another one is how can we reach our target customers on time? So with all these three different questions, an employee is going to give you what he thinks, what are his ideas about that. So the last style is delegating, and this is the style that promotes learning through empowerment. This is where a manager assigns tasks and let the employees either work individually or in group, but he just give them tasks and the time they shall reach out to him, but he never tells them how to do it and like when to do that. But he gives them, of course, a limited time on which they have to bring the result. So some of the suggestions are assigning projects that are challenging but not overwhelming, and also be precise on the task you are given, and establish a check-in dates. So some of the strengths are the tasks are completed on time and people do it in their own methods, and employees have a sense of belongings and motivation as they're included, like they have the way to show whatever they have learned, their skills or knowledge in doing something. And the weakness is that sometimes the employees take advantage of what the managers do and they tend not to do anything, especially when they're in groups. They can let some people work and they just sit around. So an example is, especially at school, we always have assignments and the teacher gives us directions to follow while completing that assignment, and he gives the due date, but he never tells us how to do that. For example, a teacher can tell you, you have to write a 1,000-word essay about about Rwanda, describing Rwanda, but he never tells you that what you have to do to complete that essay. So that's up to each student to know what he has to do in order to complete that essay. So as a conclusion, we have seen that all these functions that we have mentioned above are there to help to equip a manager to accomplish his task as a manager. But these tasks are there to help a manager work well with the employees, help the employees like achieve the goals or accomplish their task. So I thank you for your kind attention, and I think if there is any question you can reach out to me.